Welcome to this Hypnobirthing 20 Questions series, where I have taken the 20 most asked questions on Google about hypnobirthing and will answer them for you. My name is Sophie Fletcher. I've been a clinical hypnotherapist and a doula for nearly 20 years. I'm also the best-selling author of Mindful Hypnobirthing and Mindful Mama. I've been at plenty of births and I know what works and what doesn't. The questions I'll answer will be from the practical to the provocative. Today's episode is Hypnobirthing, Where Do I Start? I'm really not surprised that this is one of the most asked questions on Google. Hypnobirthing is something that over the last 20 years has absolutely exploded in popularity. When I started 20 years ago, there was one book and maybe a couple of CDs by hypnotherapists. And hypnosis is something that's very new to a lot of people. So understanding what hypnobirthing is, what hypnosis is, where to start with it, can feel really overwhelming. There are podcasts, there are loads of Instagram accounts and information, there are lots of books now, there are lots of tracks available, lots of people talking about hypnobirthing. And to get started, it's really trying to find your way through all of that. And so what I would recommend is, if you have had your first scan, getting started as soon as possible with an audiobook. Hypnobirthing may be the best thing that you have ever discovered, or it may not be for you at all. And the best way to find that out is by reading or listening to an audiobook. You can find them on Audible, you can find them on Google or Apple Books. On Spotify, for example, you can even listen to my audiobook for free if you're subscribed. So it doesn't have to cost you anything to get started either. Think about your library, for example. If your library doesn't have any books in stock, ask them to order one in. And many books now even have tracks, audio tracks with them. So you can get started really early on for free. You can build your confidence about what hypnosis is and what hypnobirthing is by just having some parameters there to guide you. So hypnosis might actually sound quite scary. I mean, when I came across hypnosis for birth, hypnobirthing 20 years ago, I was kind of, I'm not really sure about that. I would never have been to a hypnotherapist, and hypnosis for me was all about swinging watches, top hats, people controlling me. But now obviously I know that's completely untrue. But understanding that hypnobirthing is a very simplified program of structured hypnosis techniques that can help build your confidence, help manage pain, help you have agency when you're making those really important decisions and choices during pregnancy and birth. When you can kind of understand those parameters, it really helps you to have a foothold in terms of starting hypnobirthing. Now, once you've read a book, listen to a book, and think, this is something I want to do more of, really. I really get this. For some people, it's like a light bulb moment, and they're like, I totally want to do this. And if that's you and you really want to get stuck in, the next thing I would suggest is finding some audio tracks that really work for you. So there are tons of hypnobirthing tracks out there. Some are free, some you have to pay for. And a lot of people sell hypnobirthing tracks as relaxation for birth tracks, and they're actually very different. You need to find hypnobirthing tracks that have been written by a hypnotherapist. So there are particular language patterns that hypnotherapists use, and these are very specific and targeted language patterns for reducing or eliminating unconscious fear and building confidence at a very, very deep level outside of your conscious awareness. These are brilliant because the way they're designed is that you may listen to them once or twice and not even notice the change that is happening in you. Then suddenly one day you'll realize how much more confident you're feeling. So it's important to find tracks that are written by people that really know what they're doing. The other thing when starting out with hypnobirthing and getting tracks is to find a voice that you like. There is nothing worse than listening to a hypnobirthing track with a voice that you that really grates on you or reminds you of your school teacher or something like that. So find some tracks that really work for you, that make you feel held, that help you go into that deep state of relaxation really quickly and easily. So you love the books and you love your tracks. Take it one step further and start a course. There are so many different ways to starting a course. There is another episode that I've done which is on how to choose the right course for you, because that's another topic entirely. But I think it's really important to understand what you want from a course. So do you want to be online anonymous? Do you want to be in a small group? Do you want to be in a large group live? Do you want that really lovely one-to-one interaction with a teacher who is going to tailor techniques and support you throughout your pregnancy? So you have all those things to consider, and also that not every hypnobirthing program is the same. They're all very different. So if you're starting a hypnobirthing program, check out the teacher, check out their credentials. I'm a hypnobirthing trainer, which means I teach teachers, but I do know that there are people being trained as hypnobirthing teachers by people who aren't even hypnotherapists. It's unregulated. And so it's really important to check out the course and check that it fits with your values and what you want out of a hypnobirthing course. And I think the best time to start that, in my experience, is anywhere from about 28 weeks. If you do it too early, you might have other things going on in your life. You might have other children, you might have work. You might think, I'll come back to those techniques later. And then when you do, you think, oh gosh, I can't remember what those techniques, I've got to start at the beginning again. But at around 28 to 32 weeks, something shifts in here and here. And it's that, oh shit, I've got 8 weeks left kind of energy. And then you really start to focus on the techniques. And I've noticed that they seem to embed in people more effectively around that stage. So you can learn a lot and do a lot of tracks early on, but then do a course slightly later to learn the really practical tools and techniques. These are the things that I think are really important to remember when you're starting out with hypnobirthing. Don't pick and mix. There are so many free resources out there, and it's very tempting when people say, oh, there's some free things here and there's free things there. But I think it's really tricky when you start mixing material from different people and different courses. Different practitioners work in different ways, and especially if you're doing, for example, a course like mine, I embed the same messages in all my tracks and all my materials so that they impact you at a very deep level outside of your conscious awareness. If you're picking and mixing between different tracks and courses, you won't get that element of hypnobirthing. Don't just do tracks and a book and think you've done hypnobirthing. I'm going to be really honest about this because, yeah, I've written a book and I want people to buy my book and read it and do hypnobirthing. But for me, in many ways, a book is a way to introduce you to hypnobirthing. We forget that hypnobirthing comes out of hypnotherapy. It's a way of processing your fears and anxieties in the part of your mind that is outside of your conscious awareness. That can't always be done in a book or listening to a track. And the way I teach hypnobirthing, I really want to have that contact with the people who do my course, even if that's online. For example, I have a group where I really encourage people to ask questions, and I do lives where people can come and talk about their fears and anxieties, and I work on those in live groups with people. This is an incredibly important part of hypnobirthing. And so to really do hypnobirthing, you have got to have that processing going on as part of your work. It can be with a practitioner in a group course. It can be live online with someone like me as part of an online course. Or you can even book a session with a hypnotherapist. But it's really important that that aspect is included if you want to say that you've really done hypnobirthing. don't think it's not for you. I've heard so many people say they're not visual, hypnosis is not for them, but hypnosis is becoming more and more recognized, more and more mainstream. And the people who've come on my courses, almost without exception, have been completely blown away about what hypnosis is. It's a way of you learning how to control your own mind, not anybody else controlling your mind. I'm a guide who shows you how you control your own mind, and that is incredible. And the other thing to remember about hypnobirthing is that it's not just for normal birth. I hear people so often say, well, I'm not doing hypnobirthing because I'm not having a home birth, or I'm higher risk, and they actually think you need hypnobirthing more if you're higher risk, because it gives you agency and it gives you the confidence and the capacity to ask the questions that you need to ask to get better outcomes at your birth. Also, I think hypnobirthing itself is quite a formulaic program, and it's quite light touch when it comes to hypnosis. But hypnosis for birth can be really, really powerful when used with things like needle, hospital phobias, anxiety, all those things that are going on around a pregnancy or birth can really benefit from the tools you learn in hypnobirthing and by additional hypnosis tools that you can learn with a trained hypnotherapist. Also, if you're doing hypnobirthing, you need to be able to set time aside for practice, and that's all covered in your course. It should be covered in your course, and that should be made really easy and simple for you to do. But you need to take that into account if you're thinking about a course. So going back to the question, hypnobirthing, where to start? Read or listen to an audiobook, listen to some tracks, do a course, practice the course, and then you're all set to go.
Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to check out more of my content, like and follow me on YouTube and Instagram at Mindful Hypnobirthing Book, or if you're interested in any of my products or services or courses, go to sophiefletcher.co.uk.